Okay, just finished watching TNA's Against All Odds pay-per-view tonight. Um, Before I start the review recap of the show, apparently there was some big news in TNA today. Vince Russo was let go from the creative writing position. And the only thing I've heard so far is that Dave Lagana is supposed to step in and fill the slot, but right now he's still a producer. So the only thing I know right now is that Vince Russo has been let go as the writer. I don't know if he's going to be doing anything else or what this means exactly for TNA, but I'll try to get some more news on this and I'll tell everybody on Monday night during my Raw review recap what's going on with TNA. So, on to the TNA Against All Odds pay-per-view. This was It was an okay pay-per-view, I guess. It had some good matches. It had one horrendous, horrible match on it though that just killed the crowd, and it was just bad. They did have a couple good matches, but there was also some injuries, and it was a crazy show, but it was all right. I guess it wasn't that bad. I've definitely seen worse TNA pay-per-views. So I would have to say this was a little bit average, maybe slightly below average, with some of the stuff that happened. They had one really good match and then one really bad match, so it kind of balances a little bit, I guess. But anyways, they start the show and it's Jeremy Borash and Mike Tenay. They're giving a rundown on the main events. Apparently, Taz had a loss in the family that he had to go deal with, so that's why Jeremy Borash is filling in on commentary. The first match is Zema Ion versus Jesse Sorensen. Zema Ion comes out and he's got the Chris Angel hair going on still and can of hairspray. Jesse Sorensen comes out and they start a match, and it's over just as quickly as it starts because Jesse Sorensen is on the outside, and Zema Ion goes for a moonsault off the middle rope to the outside. And when he hits this moonsault, his knee cracks Jesse Sorensen in the head, and it just knocks the guy out cold. He is out. This is legit. And Zema Ion, he doesn't really break character. He's acting happy about it, which is probably the best thing he could do in this situation. They have a lot of backstage officials come and help him out, and the fans are all really concerned about him. They give an update on him later in the show, and apparently he has suffered some kind of neck injury, but he loses the match by count out because he's out cold. So that was it kind of messed up the opening match with the injury, but it wasn't that bad. They recovered from it, and they kind of go into another match that I think was just there to fill time that was actually pretty good. So I guess I can't really complain about that. But after the Zema Ion Jesse Sorensen thing, they go backstage and it's Bobby Roode talking to Christy Hemme. And he cuts a promo on the main event and how he's better than James Storm. He's always been better than Storm. He says Bully Ray turned his back on him, but he understands that. He understands being selfish because he's the leader of the selfish generation. And he can't wait to win tonight and shove it in Sting's face after Sting has stacked the odds against him in this title match tonight. So the next match, Robbie E with Rob Terry come out to the ring. And I guess this was the match to fill time after the first match got cut short. Robbie E issues a invitational challenge for anybody backstage to come wrestle him for the TV title. I guess it was for the title. And Shannon Moore comes out. This was a pretty good match, actually. I was surprised by this. I had just said in my TNA review that where is Robbie E? We haven't got to see him in forever, and he's the TV champion. And it took an accident, I guess, to get him on TV because this match wasn't even announced on the card. So this ended up being a pretty good match. At one point, Robbie E gets fed up and he has Rob Terry take the belt, and they both leave. But Shannon Moore grabs him and uh, throws him back in the ring. Shannon Moore gets taken to the outside by a knee from Robbie E. So he's knocked out and he hits the guardrail. And then Rob Terry, who's supposed to be his bouncer or bodyguard or something, is acting like he's holding the fans back. That was goofy and it's stupid. But besides those things, the rest of the match was pretty good. Shannon Moore has a roll up on Robbie E, but he kicks out and pushes Shannon Moore into the ropes where Rob Terry hits him with a punch. And then Robbie E hits him with a DDT and gets the win. So Robbie E wins, and like I said, this was a good match. I can't really complain about it. There was no build up or anything like that, so it could have been a lot better. But as a last minute thing, it was pretty good. They could have done a lot worse. So they do a video package hyping up the Knockouts tag match. And it leads into Tara versus Gail Kim, who has Madison Rayne with her. Madison and Gail Kim are also the Knockouts tag team champions. So she comes down with her, and she's acting like she's fed up with Gail Kim, and they're kind of disagreeing. She eventually walks out, and Gail doesn't even care. She just waves bye to her. But this was a pretty good Knockouts match. The crowd seemed into it. Tara hit a moonsault onto Gail Kim, and I don't know if she hurt her knee legitimately, but if she was just selling, then she did a damn good job, because I thought she had really hurt her knee. During the replay, you can see she really just lands with all her weight onto her knee, and Tara wears those big knee braces like Steve Austin. So she's had bad knee problems in the past, and she just lands right on that knee and then immediately clutches it. Gail Kim kind of attacks her knee and then hits her with the Eat Defeat and gets the win. I hate the name of that move, by the way, but so Gail Kim gets the win and keeps the belt. Backstage, James Storm is talking to Christy Hemme, and he's talking about how when he won the title, he shocked the world. This match tonight with Bobby Roode is about revenge. Bobby Roode took what he worked 15 years for, and tonight they're going to have a party in Orlando. Show a video package of Samoa Joe and Magnus fighting Crimson and Matt Morgan. This one was pretty good. I like this. Magnus, the match is Samoa Joe and Magnus versus Crimson and Matt Morgan for the tag team titles. And this was one match I was surprisingly looking forward to. I don't know why. I just really like Samoa Joe and Magnus as a tag team. I think they both come across great here. And it could also be because I just really hate Crimson and Matt Morgan as a tag team. So I really wanted these guys to win. And if you watch my prediction show, I predicted that they would win because it's finally their time. They had a good match here. A lot of good teamwork moves by Samoa Joe and Magnus. They did a little bit of the dirty double team moves, kind of cheating when the ref's not looking, but they're still the heels technically, and even though I think the crowd's really into them, they have to be into them more than Crimson and Matt Morgan. They have to be. So, basically they just dominate Crimson the whole time. Matt Morgan gets the hot tag, and he comes in and cleans house. Samoa Joe and Magnus try and set him up for that big double team elbow drop, but Morgan counters it. Crimson gets in the ring and goes for a spear on Joe, but Joe moves and Crimson spears Morgan, which allows them to set up the move again. So Joe hits the snapmare, Magnus hits the elbow, and we finally have new tag team champions. This was great. It was a decent match. Samoa Joe and Magnus are awesome. Matt Morgan was pretty good too. Crimson really just sold the whole time. So it turned out to be a pretty decent match. Backstage, they have Bully Ray talking to Christy Hemme. And this was a great promo. She asked him how it feels to be in the main event and, in a title match. And he says, "How did it feel last night when I blew you off? When you were trying to get into my hotel room?" And it was a great promo. He says he's got James Storm's number. He's had Hardy's number for years. He's in Roode's head like nobody's ever been before, and he's in the best shape of his life. And all he wants to do is just piss off the wrestling world and become Bully Ray, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Great promo. The next match is the best match on the show, obviously. I mean, pretty much anybody who watches TNA would probably agree that this would have been the best match, and it was Alex Shelley versus Austin Aries for the X Division title. Awesome. It starts off, Austin Aries and Alex Shelley are they're even. You know, they're hitting a lot of the same moves, and they're kind of on even ground. Austin Aries just showboats a lot. He does some cartwheels. He does the thing where he sits on the ropes. And it was really good. One thing that I thought was weird was there's a part where Austin Aries is on the apron. And it looks like Alex Shelley licks his hand and then grabs Austin Aries' face. Like, I didn't know what he was going to do. I thought he was going to slap him with it or something. Maybe give him a wet willy, anything. But then he just kind of grabs his face. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who saw this or thought anything of it, but it just came across as really bizarre and out of place. But Austin Aries is on the outside, and he crawls into the ring. So Alex Shelley runs to do a suicide dive to the outside, and he's like, where is he? He gets back in the ring. He's behind him, but Alex Shelley catches him, tosses him back out. Then he hits the suicide dive. I mean, both guys looked great here. They're both really, really good wrestlers. And, you know, they deserve a lot more credit. They hit some crazy spots. Austin Aries hits a Death Valley driver onto Alex Shelley on the ring apron. It just looked brutal. Austin Aries misses a 450, I believe, and lands on his feet. I think it was a 450. I couldn't rewind it to tell you, but that's what it looked like to me. So he was just doing all types of crazy stuff tonight. Alex Shelley hits a sliced bread, but Austin Aries grabs the ropes. So he doesn't get the win, and he's getting frustrated. Austin Aries is getting frustrated. He goes crazy on Alex Shelley and just starts kneeing him in the face. He hits the brain buster, but Alex Shelley kicks out. They had a lot of near falls in this match. It was kind of very Ring of Honor style, which both guys are from Ring of Honor. So it just reminded me a lot of a Ring of Honor match with all the near falls and stuff, and just the moves on the apron, things like that. But that's a good thing, because I love Ring of Honor. Eventually, Alex Shelley goes for the sliced bread for a second time. But Austin Aries counters, and he hits the brain buster. But instead of going for the pin, he goes right into that submission move he did on Mark Haskins, which is called the Last Chancery. And Alex Shelley taps out. Austin Aries wins the match clean. Both guys looked really strong, though, because it was such a good match. And this was great. Best match on the show. So Jeff Hardy's backstage talking to Christy Hemme, and he says, well, she asked him about his back, and he says, my back and my neck have seen better days, but tonight I'm seeing gold. And he tells the creatures of the night to mount up and does his thing, but he's wearing this weird makeup where the eyelids have eyeballs painted on them. So when he closes his eyes, it looks like a face is staring at you. And he's wearing some kind of weird black shroud over his head. Very, very bizarre. But, you know, that's Jeff Hardy. That's how he is. So, they show a promo video setting up AJ Styles versus Kazarian. Showing Christopher Daniels kind of messing with Kazarian and trying to get into his head and forcing him to do his bidding. The match starts, and Kazarian walks down to the ring wearing a Christopher Daniels t-shirt. He gets in the ring with AJ, and they ask him to shake his hand. AJ pushes him into the corner and says, we're past that now, and he rips the Christopher Daniels shirt off of him. And these guys, they had a decent match. I think the problem was they just had such a hard act to follow. I mean, Austin Aries and Alex Shelley was amazing. Like I said, the best match on the show. And these guys put on a great match too, but after that match, it's just very hard to follow such a great one. But they had a pretty decent match. AJ Styles, at one point, he goes for a springboard. Well, it looks like he's going for a springboard. He jumps from the apron to the top rope, and then instead of jumping, he actually balances on the top and does a moonsault to Christopher Daniels on the outside. This guy he is phenomenal. I mean, the balance he has, it's amazing. So he gets back on the apron, and he does go for the springboard again, but he gets caught by Kazarian, and he hits the fade to black, getting the win on AJ Styles. So Christopher Daniels all happy about it, and they walk out. Then you have Gunnar and Eric Bischoff talking backstage to Christy Hemme. Eric Bischoff says he's pissed off at Hogan for interfering, but he's also grateful because Hogan understands the situation and understands how dangerous the business is, and that Gunnar is going to try and destroy Garrett, and he may make it so that Garrett can never perform another physical activity for the rest of his life. And he starts to act like he's upset, and he's the good father here, and he's crying and emotional. And he says they're going to give him a way out. They're going to give Hogan a towel, and when he thinks that Garrett's been destroyed enough, he can throw in the towel and save him. Then Gunnar says he's going to destroy Garrett tonight, and they can use the towel to wipe up whatever's left of him. So they show the video package of Gunnar and Garrett Bischoff, and this had enormous fake cheers for Garrett Bischoff. Nobody has ever cheered this man like this. They took other cheers and made it sound like the people cheered when someone said something about Garrett. So bad. This match is horrible. Gunnar comes out with Eric Bischoff. Garrett comes out with Hogan. Garrett comes out to Hogan's music. He gets pyro. And for those of you who aren't familiar with TNA, nobody in TNA gets pyro. The only guy who gets pyro is like Kurt Angle, Abyss. I think Jeff Jarrett gets it. And I know Matt Morgan got it for a little bit. I don't even think he gets it anymore. But you know, I guess because he's with Hogan, it makes sense. But if Garrett gets his own pyro, that's just stupid. The fans are chanting for Hogan. Nobody gives a crap about Garrett Bischoff. Eric interfered a little bit in this match. He grabs his leg at one point. Then he takes another cheap shot when Gunnar's holding his head into the ropes. Hulk Hogan comes over and punches Eric Bischoff. Gunnar the entire match just works over Garrett's head and neck, and he keeps giving him neck breakers, and Hogan's saying, "Fight back or I'm going to have to throw in the towel." Saying, "Fight back, you got to do something here." And he eventually goes to throw the towel in, and Garrett Bischoff says, "No, no." And then Gunnar hits a DDT on him and gets the win. And then it shows Eric Bischoff smiling, and that's it. I mean, this was so bad and boring. Nobody cared. If they played this on TV, it would be a ratings killer. I don't see what they don't understand here. They're not going to build this guy up. He's not going to work for the WWE. He's not going to go anywhere else but TNA or anywhere his dad has some pull to get him a job. If it's just up to his own devices, he's not wrestling anywhere. So they're just wasting their time, and you know, it's all for themselves. It's really selfish. It's bad for TNA. It's bad for business. But Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan, they're so damn selfish they don't care. They got their own agendas. They're making their money. They're going to push who they want to push. It just makes me angry. Backstage, Christy Hemme is talking to Sting. He says that he wants everyone on their best behavior tonight. And he's going to make sure that there's a clear-cut winner tonight. He's wearing the Joker face paint, but instead of white and red, it's white and blue for the Impact Wrestling colors, I guess. And so we go to the main event, and it's James Storm versus Bobby Roode versus Jeff Hardy and versus Bully Ray, with Sting as the enforcer at ringside. So Hardy comes out. He's got his weird face paint. He's weird, but you got to give it to him. He is unique, and he's definitely the most over guy there is. The fans loved Jeff Hardy. Christy Hemme introduces the wrestlers, and Bully Ray grabs the mic and says, "Shut up, you skank." And then he introduces himself. She goes and introduces Hardy, who gets a huge pop. I mean, he just gets an amazing ovation here. Um, Bobby Roode they start the match, and Bobby Roode's trying to convince Bully Ray to form an alliance with them so they can work together. Bully Ray acts like he's going to, but then he just walks to the outside and he's just watching the match from the floor while James Storm and Jeff Hardy just work over Roode. They kind of just double team him, hit a lot of moves on him. Um, the fans actually chant Devon's better. Then the ref takes a bump from Bully. He gets smashed in the corner. So Bully Ray hits a bubble bomb on Jeff Hardy, and he goes for the pin, but the referee's out. He can't make the count. Jeff Hardy gets up and hits a twist of fate on Bubba, but the referee's still down. Sting's trying to wake the referee up. Bobby Roode comes in and he spears Jeff Hardy. Storm hits a code breaker to the face of Roode. He hits him with a super kick and goes for the pin, but Bully Ray pulls the referee out, who recovered. And while the referee's on the outside with Bully Ray, James Storm jumps over the top rope, and he's trying to hit Bully, but he hits the ref, taking the ref out again. So Bobby Roode is in with Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy goes for a swanton bomb, but Bobby Roode dodges it. He goes and he gets the title, and he comes in the ring with it. Well, Sting comes in because he's the enforcer. And he grabs the title away from Bobby Roode, and Bobby Roode's insulting him and saying he's gutless and tries to get him to hit him with the title. Sting refuses, and then Bobby Roode spits on him. So Sting gets mad, he takes the title, he goes to hit Roode. Roode moves out of the way, and he hits Jeff Hardy accidentally. And Bobby Roode pins Jeff Hardy, and he tells Sting to make the count. Sting reluctantly does, and Bobby Roode gets the win. It's confusing because Sting didn't make any other counts. He just tried to wake the referees up. But I guess he realized he's the only one there and reluctantly had to do it. Who knows? But anyways, Bobby Roode wins. He's still the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He's leaving. He's up on the entranceway, and he says, "Ta-ta, Sting, ta-ta." And I thought that was really good. But like I said, it was an okay show. Couple good matches. AJ Kaz, the Knockouts match was good. The Robbie E match was good. Austin Aries and Alex Shelley was good. The main event was okay. The tag match was good. So I think it was overall a pretty good show. Jesse Sorensen, we'll probably get an update on him on Impact about the neck injury, but for the most part, it was a pretty good show, and I hope everybody liked this review, and I will be back with a review of Monday Night Raw tomorrow night, and hopefully I'll have some more information on this Vince Russo, Dave Lagana thing. So thanks for listening, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed. Leave me some comments, and thanks for listening. Bye.